Hey guys, this is Buford with the Soccer Parent Lifestyle, and this evening I have two very special guests. I have Davin Laquerre, he's a youth soccer player, and I have his dad, Rob Laquerre. And today we're going to talk a little bit about UPSL, which is basically a semi-pro league, and I'll let them explain more about it. But we're talking about opportunities outside of the regular path of just club soccer and what have you. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be on.
All right. I guess we'll start off with Davin. What UPSL team do you play for now?
I currently play for NC Ballers.
NC Ballers, and that is out of Charlotte, North Carolina, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how old are you and what grade are you in school?
I'm 16 and I'm currently in 10th grade.
All right. How'd you find out about the UPSL?
So we found out about UPSL we have our school soccer Instagram page, and a UPSL team reached out trying to find some friendlies. And we decided that we'd follow the league or a bunch of the teams in the league. And we decided to reach out to NC Ballers specifically. And they invited me out for a trial. And that's how it all began.
Okay, so the trout was an open trout, or did you
We
get in
had to
touch with them at first, or did they find you in the wild, so to speak?
we got in touch with them first, and after they were very generous and invited me out after we my dad and I talked with them over Instagram, and that allowed us to have the chance for me to try out the team.
Okay, and Rob, a question for you. What made you originally interested in UPSL?
So the last couple of years, I've been really trying to do my homework to help prepare Davin for college or wherever his soccer career was going to take him and his future beyond high school. And one of the things that we keep reading and hearing is that college coaches want to know that you are prepared to contribute right away when you come in, especially with limited roster spots. Are you able to handle the older players, the physicality, the strength, the speed? And while youth club, there's a lot of excellent teams and competition out there. A lot of these top players even there's some going D1, D2, and D3, but they're not getting a lot of minutes right away. And no guarantees that he will this way either. But I think being able to prove for 3 years that he can compete against guys that have played at those levels in college or have played overseas or at USL, I think it gives him a resume that says, hey, I can prove that I can hang with these guys and show that I can be a difference maker for your squad. So it's just a different take and a different approach, and each player has to do what's right for them. But for him, he wants to push himself to be his best and to grow. And this was a way that he felt like, hey, I can take a chance doing this and just see how far it takes me.
All right. Back to you, Davin. How would you say the competition level in UPSL compares to club?
I will say the competition is the players are a lot bigger, faster, and stronger. So you have to prepare yourself mentally and physically for these challenges that you have to overcome. And although there are teams like that in club, it's just every single team is like this in UPSL. And you're having to constantly prove that you can stay up with them and make sure you're able to compete.
Okay. And how often do you guys train during the week? Is it 3 times, 4 times, or?
We only train 2 times a week. So if you're not training and putting touches on the ball outside of your two team trainings, which it might vary from different UPSL teams, but at least mine and I think a few others have two trainings a week, and you have to make sure you put touches on the ball and like speed and conditioning work off in the on your off time, just to prove you're committed to make yourself a better player and being able to compete at this level.
All
Yeah, you
right.
should have seen him his first game he played. He came in the last 20 minutes of the game and he was going hard. And I don't think I've ever seen him come off that tired out of a youth game. But the speed is so much different that there's an adjustment, and they're full 90-minute games. So it's definitely a challenge to learn how to manage your game differently because of the pace and just the time.
Yes. Okay. It's my understanding that UPSL is all you're playing now. You're not playing for your club team.
I'm not playing for a club team currently, and in the fall season, I am playing for the school, but
Okay.
right now it's just straight UPSL for
All
soccer.
right. Well, high school ought to be a piece of cake after the UPSL.
Mhm.
But okay, so what are some of the big benefits that you think that UPSL provides you other than playing against better players?
The exposure to like all the other levels of soccer as well, like it exposes you to the professional level and the collegiate level with scouts attending games. You're able to get friendlies against teams in college, and you're able to get friendlies against these teams in like the NPSL and other leagues like that. And we have friendlies set up against a few college teams from around locally, including like a D1 team. And that just shows that they're willing to help you like brand yourself for colleges and prove that, again, it comes down to also proving you can compete at that level to help make a difference in your first year.
Okay. Just personally, are you planning to go the college route, or are you wanting to go straight pro route? Or we'll leave Dad out of it for right now because he may not want to hear the answer to this. But
No, we're actually encouraging him to chase his dreams. If that means trialing overseas, starting his senior year, because obviously with the restrictions with FIFA, it's hard to get overseas under 18. So once he hits his senior year, if he wants to trial and see where it takes him, great. He might try UPSL here or USL. USL starting a tier one league to compete with MLS. So who knows where that goes. And he's also interested in college to see if he can play there and run track. So I'll let him speak more to it. But from a parent perspective, we're not limiting him in any way. We want him to chase what's going to make him happy.
all right. Now, Davin, are from your perspective, are there any downsides to playing UPSL?
I wouldn't say there's downsides, but there's definitely challenges. Some of the challenges include for example, since I'm so young compared to a lot of these guys, it's hard to gain trust and chemistry within the team. But I've been lucky enough that the team I've grown with and been able to play with has been very supportive of me in my journey and is trying to help me develop into the best player I can be.
Okay. How hard was it to bond with the guys initially? I know they probably say, "Here's this high school kid. He thinks he's Mr. Hot Shot." Did they try to rough you up a little bit at the beginning?
They were all physical with each other. They just weren't doing it to me personally, and they were doing it to everyone together to help everyone improve and to show that they're not going to take it easy on everyone because you're constantly fighting for spots and time and just being able to be on this team and have the opportunities you have.
That is awesome. Um, Rob, a question for you as a dad. Is it harder to watch him playing against these grown men than against, say, a club team where he's out there, he's playing against 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds and what's rough and physical? Is it harder for you as a parent? And maybe is it hard for mom to watch?
It's exciting, but definitely nerve wracking at times. There's some times where he's taken some shots that I've not seen before and some tackles that just like how did he get up from that? But again, if he's going to prove himself, he has to be in the environment because as a freshman in college or pro trialing, they're not going to go easy on him either. So he has to do it. And we understand something can happen, but as long as he plays the game the right way and smart, odds are he's going to be okay. He's going to come out battered and bruised, but that's what the recovery time's for and why they don't play as much as maybe a youth club. So yeah, it's nerve wracking, but it's exciting. I'm seeing a whole side of him that I've never seen in youth because in the youth club system, you fit a scheme and you fit a position, and here you're versatile and they're going to put you where they have a need and you have a chance to showcase yourself. So in youth club, he stood out as a center back because he was one of the taller kids and bigger kids. But here they put him on the wing. And so he gets to show his speed and his technical ability and his off the ball runs. And he's done some things that watching those first couple of games he played in the fall, I was like, where'd this kid come from? I've never seen this before, but he's had it in him. But this allowed him to play a little more free, I think.
Okay. Davin, if you had to narrow it down, what would you say the best thing about playing in the UPSL is?
The competition. It's you're playing the top bunch of players who have played at these top levels, and there's also teams like CSA and NCFC that put their top kids together to create a team that competes at these levels, and it gives you a chance to stack up against the best in like your region to try to see how you'll fare in rankings and stuff. And it also just shows you're able to compete at this level to help in college to make a difference and change in their program.
All right. And Rob, one final question for you is, how do you think this has helped Davin overall develop as a person, mainly off the pitch?
We've mostly stayed out of everything while we helped with the initial interaction and were there for his preliminary discussions. We let him handle it all, from the trials to the feedback to the rostering. I'm not involved in any of the, like, we have team snap or play metrics for club. I'm not in any of those. So he has to manage his own time, his schedules, let us know if he needs to be somewhere. He's got to communicate with the coaches. And so I'm seeing a maturity and a confidence out of him that I didn't see before, and seeing him really own his development, because with less training days, he has to put in work on his own. So I'm seeing a whole new young man that's really pushing himself to be better, and he's growing up maybe too quickly, but it's fun to watch because he's coming into his own.
Okay. Any downsides from your perspective of him playing UPSL and not club or?
So I think the downside is to what you mentioned, being a league that's lesser known in terms of the traditional college recruiting paths. You often hear about how a lot of colleges look at MLS Next and ECNL in the big showcases. I'm not sure how many have just taken the UPSL pathway and made it into their college to where they're going or to a pro. It's a different journey and a different path, and something that we haven't seen taken very often. It's a little nerve wracking to see where that can go, but he's already learned a lot about how to market himself and how to get film and do all that stuff. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out, because it's not the traditional path. So that's probably the one concern that I have, but I'm confident in the club around him, the team, the owners and coaches, and his work ethic, that it'll work out. But you always got that wonder of how's it going to be.
Yes. All right, guys, it's a Friday evening. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate you answering these questions. I think it'll be able to help the parents out and just show them that there are other pathways available if you decide to take it out. And Davin, I want to commend you. Being in 10th grade and playing at this level takes a special young man. And so I'm sure your parents are very proud. All
Thank you for
right.
having me.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say thank you very much.
Oh, you're certainly welcome. And I look forward. Now, just remember in 5 years when you make the big time, remember Buford Mobley and come back and interview with me if I'm still around. If Rob and them hadn't kicked me out of the group by
Oh, no way, not at all. But the last thing I did want to share, Buford, is when you talked about helping other families on the pathways, is what we found is that, again, youth club, a lot of people want to chase those top leagues, and they're excellent. No knock on them. They produce a lot of top talents. They're very expensive, and a lot of people say I can't afford that. And I think UPSL provides an alternate path that's affordable. It's significantly less expensive. You don't have all the travel for tournaments and long weekends away consistently, and traveling for the big showcases. Unless you make playoffs for UPSL, then you have to travel a little bit more. Everything's within the region, and it's one game a weekend, so you're not staying at hotels all the time. So if you've got a talented player and you're not in a situation where you can do all that travel, there is an opportunity here. And so if people want to know more, we'd be glad to share our experience. And there's a lot of UPSL clubs around that could be an opportunity. So they're always looking for good young talent to grow and develop as well.
All right. I appreciate you guys informing us. And for the parents out there, you just keep in mind that you don't have to do what everyone else does. You can forge your own path, and I think it'll work out well for you regardless of what you decide to do. So I appreciate you guys hanging with us, and we will talk with you again when you become a star, Davin, and when I have to talk to your people in order to get to you. I, I'll talk to your people and beg them to let you come on and interview with us.
Oh, he'll make sure it happens, right, Davin?
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
All right. You have a great night and great weekend, and thank you so much for your time.
You too.